Hello and welcome to episode 4 of 2024.
Woohoo! Yeah, buddy!
So today we are talking about how to make the most out of the wildlife in your garden using your very own hide perch. So firstly, no, I am not in my garden yet. Unfortunately, my garden isn't 7 acres, but I am in the woods, and that is because step 1 is to find your perfect perch. So head out to your nearest woods or park, anywhere where there's a few trees, cast your eyes to the floor and just see what branches are lying about. You need to look at appropriate size for small garden birds, so don't get anything too big. Ideally get something with a little bit of character, maybe some moss, and ideally a bit of an arch. So one end can go in the ground and the other end can sit horizontally for your birds to perch on. Okay, so it took me slightly longer to find the perfect perch than that clip might have suggested. However, I did find one laying about in my woods that I use for my hides. The owner is often clearing areas and so on from fallen branches, and I happened to find a really nice one which I was managed to sort of snap in the middle, and it's kind of the perfect height and horizontal shape. A little tip for you though, if you're in a local park, public park, or woods, try not to disturb anything that's obviously been there for a while. There's insects and other wildlife that are probably using that as their home. So if you can find recently fallen branches that are quite clearly on a track or next to a track and not really being used and have recently fallen off a tree, then that really is the ideal thing to find. Now, the nice thing about this one is it has a nice sturdy base that can go into the ground in my garden. It has a vertical and then a horizontal aspect to it. And the benefit of the horizontal aspect is it is a tapering branch, so it gets smaller and smaller towards the end. So we have a nice different range of thicknesses of the branch to allow for a nice perspective on different sized birds, from a jay or a magpie landing all the way down to a tiny little wren or goldcrest. So now we have our perch, let's head to the garden. Here we are. Now, there is one thing to note. If your garden has never had any birds in it, or you've never done any bird feed or put any bird feed out, it might take a while to actually get the birds in, for them to know that you've got a bird feeder. So before you do this, you've got to have a bit of patience to either put some bird feeders out and wait to see if they start coming to the garden, or put the perch out that we're about to do and then just wait. You'll be surprised at how quickly the birds find the perch, but I would say that this works best in a garden that already has bird feeders. Okay, aside from the branch we found earlier, here's what you're going to need to put your perch into action. So essentially, you need a spade to dig the hole, and you need a drill and a drill bit to drill some holes in the back of the perch. So with my perch here, make sure that you get the nice side facing the camera and drill your holes in the back side so that you can put your feed in, but the camera doesn't see that they are there. Now, one thing I would say is if you're under 18, make sure you get some help and also the permission of anyone who has their power tools before you use them, and be safe. I've got glasses on, but I probably should have worn gloves as well. So just be safe if you're going to do this, and if you don't know what you're doing, just get some help from someone who does. Okay, now with the perch in and our holes drilled, we need to put some feed in. So the benefit of putting the perch next to the feeders is that they will use it as a staging area to get to the main food, which I've already put in here and they're already used to. Okay, so we're all set. So far this has really cost us nothing, which is the main thing about this. For people who want to learn their skill, learn their camera, learn about their local wildlife in their garden, this is a really nice way of doing it. Really low cost and takes hardly any time at all, apart from going to find your perch, which could take a little bit longer. But for me, it took me about 20 minutes. Putting the perch in took about 10 minutes, and doing all the feed in the holes. So now the final stage is to hide somewhere in your garden, nearby, wait for the birds, and take some pictures. Oh, and just a note to say, if you've got nowhere to hide in your garden, then just maybe look on Amazon. There's lots of camo netting and ghillie suit type things that you could pop over the top of you, just to make you blend in a little bit more in your garden for those birds, so you don't surprise them. But generally garden birds are pretty good. Once they already know the area and they come in and out, if you sit quietly long enough, they'll still visit. And there we have it. So I've sat for about an hour and a half after putting the new perch up, and missed the photos of a dunnock and a blue tip, but managed to get some nice photos of this lovely robin. So not a lot of preparation, not a lot of work to put the perch up, and not a lot of time waiting, and managed to get a couple of lovely shots. And that's about it. I hope that really helps. Thanks very much for watching. Bye. Oh, wow.